No, I got to lean in.
What is up, everybody? Happy Thursday night. I want to start off by saying I was a liar last week. Obviously, last week was not the last live of 2024. Miami, the little show that could, just keeps chugging along. They said we're not taking any breaks. Y'all go get this episode before you head into New Year's. So thank you to everybody who's joining us. We got Football Cat and Kevin Reynolds. Thank y'all for showing up. Danny, how are you doing? Happy New Year. Early Happy New Year. We're not there yet.
I'm good. I'm good. Ready to get the new year, ready to get this week over with, get the new year. I'm tired of Christmas, spending money for Christmas, and my sister's birthday is New Year's Eve, so I'm like, I don't get a break.
Do you have New Year's plans already?
With the family.
Damn, I'm going.
But I also haven't been feeling well, so just trying to.
Is that your excuse to not spend time with them?
Just trying to get better. That's all.
I hear that. Football Cat says, greetings from Dallas. Hello, Football Cat. I also am in Dallas right now. So 214-469, whatever area code you're
Empress.
Hey, Asian Empress. Okay, so we got all the regulars here. So before we get started, so obviously you see it's just me and Danny. You know, me and Danny like to cut up. We like to key. But that means the episode tonight is probably going to go a little bit slower. So we will probably be engaging or be able to have time to engage with the comments, engage with the callers. If you've been following us for any period of time lately, you know that we're trying to keep things under an hour or so. We've been getting some feedback from our fans and viewers saying that sometimes on heavier episodes, it feels a little rushed. So we're trying to find a happy medium. So we want to say thank you to everybody who is joining us. But if you want us to go a little bit longer, you guys are going to have to give us a reason to go a little bit longer. So if you feed us, we're going to feed you. So let's go ahead and get started. Before we do that, make sure you like and subscribe. In 2024, we've got a lot of new things coming, a lot of new shows that we're recapping, some old shows we're recapping. You know, the last couple of months have been crazy. Hit that little notification button so that way you know when we go live and whenever we drop a new episode. Because if you just listen to me, you're going to miss a lot of things.
Because Dorit can talk, baby.
Don't listen to me. All right, so let's go to get started. Right off the bat, Danny, we get a quick glimpse of the party that goes down, the Mamacite madness, the hot mamas party that Nicole is throwing. We see Alexia screaming at Nicole, saying that this is a setup. Nicole's like, I don't know what's going on. Why don't you, like, how was I supposed to know? For any of you guys who've been following the show, following the blogs, you know that Anna is making her return. If you follow the OG Miami, Anna had no problem speaking her mind to any and everybody, and I loved her. When we last saw her, she was friends with Alexia and Marisol. Something happened between the break between season 3 and the premiere of season 5. And so this is what all the drama is stemming from. So we rewind to 3 days before. We get, like, you know, the little package, Gertie spending time with her youngest son. They're, you know, teaching him to bake. Larsa and her youngest son, boyfriend, whatever, are doing whatever adult women and child grooms do. Nicole is prepping for the hot mama party. And Alexia and Frankie meet Peter, that adult man who can't do his own laundry, can't pay his rent, and obviously can't shop for himself. Again, Danny, you've been saying this for years, that she makes excuses for him. She very much is a Latina mama who's like, my son can do no wrong. He's this. So in this package, we see him saying, you know, he's maturing. He's coming into his own. He's finding himself as a man. I'm like, this dude is 33. What do you mean he's just now doing this?
And he's coming into his own, finding himself as a man as you're about to furnish his house.
Girl, you're buying his furniture. She's saying, you know, pretty soon he'll be ready to get himself a girlfriend. And I'm like, are we just going to gloss over the fact that he allegedly beat up his last girlfriend? That's why they broke up?
He is.
Okay, Alexia, we're just rewriting history and going on with whatever you're saying is happening. So she's looking at, I mean, what does she say? She says, you know, I don't want to push it. This is his apartment. I want him to pick out stuff, and immediately goes into, like, you would like this. This is pretty. This would look good in your apartment.
This is too futuristic. This is too
futuristic. I'm like, well, if you're paying the bills, like, he really doesn't have a whole lot to say. So they sit down and they're having a convo, and Alexia brings up the fact that the penthouse that they apparently are renting and not owning was sold by the owner and they found out that they have to move out ASAP. She mentions that Todd doesn't think that purchasing residential real estate is a good idea or a good investment and prefers commercial. But then, like in the same breath, she says, renting is so hard right now because everything is overpriced. And I'm like, I'm not a broker, but purchasing real estate
Mortgages are
because you're just making money. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I to judge? Anyway, she has to move out in 15 days, and she really is just like, oh, well, that's what happened. Todd said it's fine, and Todd's not worried about it. Peter's looking worse for the wear. Peter used to be very, very handsome before he
looks tired.
used racial slurs and beat people up and is a woman beater. Like, he's going through it.
Well,
what do you
I never found him handsome. Never.
You're a liar. Liar. Season 2, he was fine. I call cap.
Never. And now he just looks old, tired, and ran through like he just woke up, didn't brush his teeth, and just threw on whatever he could find. I was actually annoyed with this scene. Just because it all seems so staged to me. You got to move in 15 days, yet you're helping him shop for furniture for your stuff when you should be packing your stuff. That's number one. Number two, Peter, to me, he's just a worthless excuse for a human being. He's never going to do any better because Alexia is going to keep enabling him. Mm-hmm. And she is also going to keep making excuses for him. She's never going to make him fully grow up. At this point, I kind of feel like anything bad that he does kind of rolls onto her a little bit because she's responsible for the monster that she created. When it comes to Todd wanting to continue to rent, in my opinion, I think, allegedly, I think he likes to rent because they don't do as much digging in your finances when you rent. When you go to purchase a house, they definitely dig into your personal finances. I'm sure everything he buys, corporate, commercial, is probably in a business thing, so they come through those finances. But personally, I don't think he wants his personal finances combed through with a fine-tooth comb like they would for purchasing a home. Yeah. So their story is believable because I'm in property management, and we have, the clients that I have, they sell their properties, purchase new ones, and we either keep the new tenants or we tell them, hey, you got to go. But majority of the time, your lease still has to be honored, or you're giving a certain amount of time to move. It's never 15 days. So I'm glad that later on it's cleared up a little bit, but even that seems fishy because you still in Florida get more than 30 days.
It just so happens that your lease is up at the end of the month. It just so happens, coincidentally.
So I don't buy the whole story here. And I, as much as we'll talk later, Adriana cooks up mess, I think she might have received correct information here.
Adriana's a lot of things, a liar, maybe an embellisher, but not a flat out liar. She always
forget.
For as long as we've known Adriana, if she has a story, there is a hint of truth to it. Now, the details and the specificities of it may have changed. They may have been, embellished a bit, but there's always some truth with Adriana. And I agree. And at first I'm like, well, maybe that they just, like me. I had a house, I owned a house. It was not for me. I changed my mind too much. I like to move. I like different scenery. But I also am not putting huge amounts of money into a rental if I know that it's temporary, the same way Alexia has. And she even mentioned, she was like, oh, I put so much, work into this. Yeah. And so that's why he was able to sell it so quickly. I was like, girl, if it was a rental, why are you doing all of these? You're just giving somebody else your money to make money off of your money. That doesn't make any sense to me. Mm-hmm. But again, as much as I love Alexia, have loved her over the years, a lot of things that she has said and done don't make a whole lot of sense. So we're going to keep moving on. We get a scene with Julia and Adriana going to her farm, and apparently her transphobic melting wax figure of a wife tells her that she needs to tighten up the finances when it comes to the farm. Julia is funneling money, like she collects, these farm animals and these abandoned animals, like that's her thing. Some people collect purses and shoes. Julia likes livestock, but it's not making her any money, and it's become a drain on their finances. So she has to either find a way to make money or get rid of some of this livestock in order to recoup her investment. And I feel a little bit bad for her because obviously you can tell that she's got an emotional connection to these animals. She has a huge heart, but it's like, honey, you're renting land for all of this stuff, and you're not selling them. You're not, getting money from farmers for meat. You're not growing veggies. Like, what are we
giving
doing?
all
like,
the eggs away to the girls instead of selling them?
Okay, for free? Like, what's going on? You're not even going down to the local like farmers market to try to recoup something. Like, there's nothing happening. So she's just kind of showing Adriana what's going on. But the big part of the scene is when they're in the car. Adriana, they're talking about where the relationships stand with the girls. They're talking about the conversation that everybody had with Lisa at where were they at? Key West or Bermuda?
Palm Beach.
I'm getting my ultimate girls trip, and like, I don't know, St. Bart's, where are they at? And Adriana, she stuck up for Lisa before, and she sticks to her gun. She goes, I really think everybody just really ganged up on her. And as much as it may have come from a good place, as much as they may have been telling truth, you're not going to listen when people are ganging up on you. Like, you shut down. And then she goes, Alexia had a lot of nerve talking about finances and talking about her relationship with Todd when her finances aren't even in the place that she needs to be at. You could tell, like, she cannot wait to get this tidbit of information out to Julia. And she says, a little birdie told me some stuff, and if I tell you the name, can you keep a secret? And Julia, you can tell on Julia's face, she's like, yes, okay, yes. And we find out that it's Ana Quinsosis, who was a full-time cast member from season 2, part-time cast member on 3, and apparently had a huge falling out with Alexia and Marisol sometime between the end of season 3 and the start of season 5. And she says that Ana told her that the reason why Alexia is having to move out of her apartment is because their finances are not in order. Todd is not making the money that he used to make, and they can't afford the rent, essentially. Not because the landlord sold the property. Julia, rightfully so, asked, well, how the hell does Ana know this information? But she also looks very, very uncomfortable. And in her confessional, she's like, you know what? I have this friendship with Alexia, and I want to be loyal to Adriana, but it's like, I don't want to know about Alexia's finances. And I think, Adriana is treading on very, very thin ice here. What I like about Julia is she says what is in her mind. And she says the exact same thing to Adriana, like, yo, unless you have stone cold hard facts about this, do not bring this up. Because you're going to be the one that's going to look like the bad guy. You're going to be the one that takes the heat, and it's not going to be Ana. And Adriana's like, no, I'm telling you because you're my best friend and I trust you. But you could also, like, honey, you brought this up on camera. You knew what you were doing, Adriana. So you mentioned earlier, Adriana always has a little bit of truth to what she's saying. What do you think of the scene?
Okay, so I'll start with the because I agree with Sean S. here. Julie should open a petting zoo. I think it's a brilliant idea. I kind of got annoyed when she said Martina doesn't help her. Like, I get Martina might not have had the energy to help you when she went through chemo and stuff, but now that she got her final treatment and stuff, of course it's not tit for tat, but I just took care of you throughout this whole thing. Yes, I know this is my doing. Yes, I know this is all on my shoulders, but you could come help me, even if it's just one little thing. Like, I think that's trifling. Just an example of why I think Martina doesn't deserve Julia. Mm-hmm. As far as the car ride, the whole thing, what I will say is that Julia is never going to be able to have true friendships with any of these women while Adriana is around. Adriana is going to get in the way of every friendship that Julia tries to make if it's someone she doesn't like. She is going to involve her in some kind of way, because as we see later on in the preview, when when Adriana leaves, when they're arguing, what's the first thing Adriana says to her? Says, oh, you knew this too. Don't forget, you knew it too. She's already trying to drag her into it. So I could see them feuding soon, and I'm here for it, because I think she needs to drop Adriana. As much as I hate to say it, because there's a part of me that feels bad for Adriana, but she says that Alexia bullies her. Marisol bullies her. Now she's bringing someone around to bully them. So it's just like, and then the whole thing in all this is Adriana is going to try to be a victim when Alexia and Marisol go off on her.
They're gonna get in her ass.
They're gonna get
in her ass.
She's not gonna be able to handle it, and she's gonna act like they're bullying her in this moment when she is the one that caused this. Yeah. And you know, I see this comment here that Julia doesn't need to be friends with Marisol and Alexia. That might be the case, but it is still her choice to make, not Adriana to come in between. If Adriana doesn't want her to be their friend, she needs to tell her just that, hey, don't trust them. You see this, that, and the third, instead of just trying to be sneaky and cause a wedge in there. Because that's what she's doing. She's causing a wedge intentionally. Yeah. And I never understand people saying on national TV, don't keep this a secret. Like I trust you. There's a difference in this than Gertie telling Larsa, don't say anything. Larsa's information is not, Gertie's information is not that she never wanted it out. She just wanted to be the first one to tell it. In this one, you're on national TV telling Julia, you're not going to say anything, right? You're not going to tell anybody. But girl, we're going to see this on TV. Like, you're saying it. So, yeah, I just think, I love the drama that Adriana brings sometimes, but sometimes it's very cringy. And as much as I don't like as much as I don't like Alexia and Marisol, this is one of those cringy moments to me that makes me side-eye Adriana a lot. It's very cringy.
And Adriana has been this way since season 1. Like, it's after 2 or 3 episodes of her, she's entertaining. She knows how to make good TV, but it's very, at some point, it's like, yeah, girl, yeah.
Everything
Give it a rest.
Nothing is genuine. Everything about her is very staged, very, this is going to be good TV. And in this instance, too, not only, we'll cover more later on, but not only is she involving Julia in some way, Nicole is catching strays for her, too.
Yeah. It gives very much like a toned down, watered down Lisa Rinna, where it's like anytime she gets a call sheet, it's like, what am I going to do today to push the storyline forward? And that's good for a TV show. Obviously, a show like this, you need some sort of drama, but you also need to, like, Lisa Rinna worked because Lisa Rinna never painted herself as the victim. She was at some point she was just like, baby, it's what it is. I don't know what to tell you. Adriana, like, if she would, I understand, like, Marisol and Alexia aren't innocent in that back and forth. They do gang up on her, but it's also like, girl, this is also the consequences of your actions. And if you had somebody on the show that hated Marisol and Alexia, you would be doing the exact same thing that they're doing with you. They just so happen to not be on each other's nerves yet. That will come. But make no mistake, if it was Marisol and Adriana on a team, Adriana would not think twice about ganging up on Alexia.
At all.
And
I did have one more thing I forgot. I'm sorry, too.
No, go ahead.
When it came to her saying, saying who is Alexia to give Lisa financial advice, I'm sorry, I can't stand Alexia, but what she said to Lisa was spot on.
Yep.
You don't always have to be a perfectionist at something or be good at something to know what should be done. Sometimes
I did this wrong. Don't do what I did.
And that's what she was saying. She said, I did this wrong and it caused a wedge. She wasn't giving that advice. In that moment, I think in the past 2 seasons, that's probably one of the most sincere moments I've seen Alexia. She was giving her advice saying, I screwed up. Don't be me, is what she was saying. So Adriana got that wrong.
Adriana and Julia remind me a lot of Marisol and Alexia with their friendship. Like, Julia, you can see rides for Adriana. But I think that after being on it, when you're friends with somebody in real life versus friends with somebody on a show, and you start to like peep how they move when the cameras do, you start to see like, okay, this is getting a little tiring, And so I think that's what's happening. It's like, Adriana, why do you keep putting yourselves in these situations that you know we're going to get your ass beat? And you're putting me in here. It's and like, you want me to like blindly defend you.
If you're being attacked, that's fine. But I don't want to keep having to jump and defend you for situations that you are causing.
For situations that warrant it. If they're bullying you for no reason, and we've seen Julia go at Marisol. So even when she was trying to be friends with Alexia, she calls Marisol out on her bullshit. And maybe the first season, it was like, I don't like Marisol because she's mean to me. But she was that first episode of this season. She says, "Yo, you're the common denominator in a lot of stuff. You're carrying a lot of stuff, not just with Adriana. Like you stir the pot on a lot of stuff." So
since you brought that
calls
up,
it out.
since you brought that up, can I just say, I know it was episodes ago, but Marisol handled that better than I expected her to. I just wanted to put this out there.
She was just like, "Yeah, girl, you're weird, bro." I will say, I know you don't like Marisol, but her evolution.
I like her more than Alexia.
I think that if you get her away from Alexia,
yes,
Marisol will be.
When she was with Nicole.
Yes, I love that. And later on in the episode, I like that she didn't automatically start screaming the way Alexia was. Alexia bullied her into getting her upset. We'll talk about that later. But okay, let's move on because we could have this whole discourse about this relationship. We get a little scene of Nicole and her mom hanging out, helping plan the Mother's Day. They talk about the bombshell that Nicole's dad had last week, which you weren't on the recap that we got, but last season we had a lot of conversations, and me, you, Chase, anybody who watched, we were often on the same page, but often at different odds with her relationship with her dad, because people were like, she needs to accept her dad the way that he is. And I was like, no, her dad is a little toxic and needs to, like, you aren't owed anybody's relationship. So she's come a long way with this relationship. And she even said here when her mom was like, or production was like, yo, how are you like so calm? Why are you not more pissed off that you found out your dad has 2 other kids that you didn't know existed and is wanting 2 other hypothetical kids? And she's like, baby, thousands of dollars of therapy, thousands of dollars.
And I believe her.
And I believe it. And, I love that she's owning it. They went from that, but it's still like her dad's doing this stuff that, like, my God, man, but maybe you should just be in therapy separately. Apparently Nicole's mom knew of one of the children. But I was kind of on her side with this because she said, like, that was not my place to tell you. That's not my child. You're my child, but that's your dad. That's not my place to tell you anything. Nicole says that she is considering doing a paternity test, a DNA test, to kind of see if anybody else is out there to match. And her mom is like, you're opening up a Pandora's box. And as somebody who did 23andMe, and that's how I found my biological father and a sister and a whole other family that I really wasn't planning on finding, yes, you are opening a Pandora's box, and make sure that therapy is on speed dial because you may not like what you find. So this was a lot. And so since you and I didn't get a chance to talk about it last episode, and we've got time, what are your thoughts on this whole situation?
I feel like when he says he want more kids, I feel like, because he's passed away since, right?
Yeah.
I feel like he already knew he was sick and stuff, but he was just trying to hurry up and continue a legacy out there of him, is what it seems like. Because I don't understand no other reason why you haven't had a relationship. You didn't have a relationship with Nicole. I'm sure a relationship with your other ones are the same, because you had to think about their names. You had to think about how old they were. You had to, Yeah. So, and even when he kept getting up, going to the bathroom over and over, Nicole was like prostate issues, I kind of felt that he was already sick there. So may he rest in peace. But yeah, it's just baffling to me. It could be he wants to leave a legacy. Some men just have an ego like that and think they're God's gift to the world and want to keep procreating.
You know how Latina men are. Latino men are just very machismo. I just got to do what I got to do and leave my legacy, leave my name on something. And it's like, okay. Trust me, you don't need to do that
at all.
You do not need to do that.
And I agree with her mother, because to me, why do you want to know Nicole? Because if you're not going to try to have a relationship with any of them, there's no point. There literally is no point. But if you want to know because you want to have a relationship, you want to know if you have siblings out there, you want to build something, that's fine. But it also doesn't seem like she has a relationship other than with her brother, who, is with her mom and her dad, the other child that, has both the same parents. So I just don't know why she wants the information. I guess, it's her right to know in a sense, but I also agree with her mom. It wasn't her place to tell her. And I actually gained more respect for her mother when she said that.
Yeah. And, out of all of them, the mother seemed to have the healthiest relationship. Like she came to peace with what their relationship was. So many times in a situation like that, where you have a dad that philanders or whatever, the mom will just like run him low, make sure he doesn't have any contact, try to speak negatively. But if you remember, Nicole was constantly saying her mother was put like, get to know your dad, go meet with your dad, talk with your dad. So I respect her a lot for that, because I think that that's how Nicole was finally able to get to a place. And thank God, you know, regardless of what the relationship may have been, that she was able to find some sort of commonality and speak with him. And they were in a good place, or a much better place, before his passing. But yeah, Nicole, because what he said, these two other kids were 8 and like 7.
7.
These are kids. They're not just his kids. They're literal children. So unless you anticipate being there, don't insert your lives into a 7-year-old, like, hey, I'm your sister, and then like never pop up.
And not just that, I can imagine how she's feeling, because I'm sitting here, 7, 8 years ago, I'm pretty sure she was still going through that stuff with him where she felt abandoned and he wasn't there for her.
Yeah.
And then here you are bringing new life into this world again, and attention that could become, not to say that, it might be selfish, but at that time, somebody like, I still don't get no time from you, and here you are having more kids.
Yeah.
So it was very evident in their lunch together that they had that therapy did work, because some of those responses and the way he talked to her, if it was 2 seasons ago, she would have got up and left him there.
And you could tell she was like, give me a minute. I'm processing what you're saying. And even like the little, like, you take us so long to process. And I'm like, man, let that lady sit down for a little bit before she gets her ass a new one.
But her mother to me is, I love that she never ever attempted to poison her father's image in her mind. She let her come to her own decisions. She always encouraged her to have her own relationship with him, she tried to tell her, my experience with him has nothing to do with y'all two. You go forward, you try to build something with him. So like you say, now that he's gone, I'm glad that Nicole doesn't have to live with the guilt of not having tried to work things out with him. At least she has peace in that.
Yeah. So the next scene, we get a little package of Gertie and her family, which I always love. She took Russell's advice, which we see in a flashback, of wanting to be more present, less work, more time with the kids. And she says, considering her recent diagnosis, she wants to be as present as she can for her family. And we saw a little bit earlier, Haitian Princess had her, and I always call her Princess, my God, Empress, mentioned, and I think you mentioned this also either last episode or the episode before, Haitian Empress, is that it seems to be the other ladies are kind of flat out ignoring Gertie's cancer diagnosis. Like they're throwing a mommy brunch and stuff for Lisa, but there's not a emphasis on Gertie. And I think just based on what I'm seeing with Gertie, knowing that Gertie is very much a boss and very much in control of her own image and stuff, I can't help but think that perhaps that is a little bit out of respect to allow Gertie to kind of do the narrative of her health and her diagnosis, particularly seeing how Larsa fumbled that bag. I've gotten the fact that Gertie doesn't want to talk about the cancer unless it's on her terms of when she wants to do it. And I think, great, you have to respect that, because we can see even in this scene, she's having a difficult time wrapping her head around it. And I think as any person who is diagnosed with this, I think that she would. Her kids are young. I think they're like 13 and 16 or something like that. Yeah. And you can tell the older one that takes after Russell, he's very stoic, very quiet, very internalized. They're bowling and it's cute. She's trying to have, a cute family time. But of course, she sits down and starts talking about this diagnosis. And I got teared up a bit because she's going into like, things are going to be okay. This is very much in control of, this is the treatment I'm having. This is what it's going to do. This is how I'm going to do this. We're going to get through this. And I broke down a little bit when she took her oldest son's hand and was like, I need you to keep doing what you've been doing. Help your brother get ready in the morning, cook him breakfast. I was like, nope. We're not going to do this right now, Gertie, please. But this kind of scene just reinforced that, like, Russell is my favorite, like, housewife husband. Like, we see husbands like, oh, I'm going to support you in this and that. But the way he's like doesn't seek out a camera, doesn't try to get extra camera time. Very much is like, here I am. I'm doing this with you. We're going to get through this. We're doing one day at a time. I'm literally right here with you every step of the way. And this is the way that he looks at her, because Gertie is very energetic and very this, I got to be busy. And you can tell that he is very grounding for her, very centering, which is something that she needs. I love seeing the two of them together. And yeah, I agree with Haitian Empress, seeing the look on her son's face as they're talking about this cancer diagnosis. Even the little one who's just like redirecting the energy and focusing on trying to eat was like, I know you got to do this for cameras, but like, this had to have been difficult to involve your children in a very emotional conversation about
what their mom's for a public platform.
Yeah, exactly. So, what do you what do you think about this?
So I do agree with you. I think Gertie is 100% in control of how this is being portrayed. I don't even think she's letting Bravo control this. I think she's in control of what's being portrayed. And I think it's evident because I even said to myself last night that I like the way scenes with her are being shown when it comes to her cancer. Like, I thought this was a perfect way to do it, because in this, I think what Gertie's doing is, you said that she's a boss, used to being in charge. And I think what she's doing here is she doesn't want to allow herself to look weak for the camera. I think maintaining that boss and controlled image is important to her. She doesn't want to look weak. And it's kind of evident also in the fact that she had to remain strong while talking to her kids, because I'm sure on the inside she was probably crushed and probably, I feel like that's the real reason she's told him to go to the arcade, because she needed a moment to cry for that conversation.
Because if I was at home, like, maybe we wouldn't be having this conversation. That's why she had Russell tell them the conversation.
And I just think that she's a strong woman. I think, like they said in Waiting to Exhale about Russell, that's a good man. Good man. I will say the last time I liked the husband as much as I like Russell was Greg Leakes.
Yeah.
I think he's the only other husband that I like. Again, I kind of put Russell on his level when it comes to supporting your woman, because Greg didn't care what he did. He was in her corner. Even when she was cussing him out, he was in her corner. So, it was crushing to see the older son's face. He wanted to break down.
Yeah.
But he couldn't. And I also think it's probably tougher for the older son than the younger son, because he probably has more knowledge about cancer and what it can do. They can kind of sugarcoat stuff to the younger one a little bit, but they can't sugarcoat anything to him. So it's a very touching scene. I kind of like that. So I agree. I kind of like the scenes that we see where she's controlling the narrative and she's not letting Bravo really exploit this, is what I like about it.
I like that she is telling her story. It's something like this could very easily turn very, I don't want to use the word gossipy, but it could be very flippant. Gertie's sick. Gertie's got cancer. What's going on? And we see with Housewives shows how someone's crisis could very easily get turned and people can make it about themselves. And I'm almost very thankful that we're not seeing the other ladies discuss it, because this is something that Gertie, it's something that happens to women, men every single day. Breast cancer, women every single day. Gertie is showing that when it happens, you can still. Hold on, you can still. Well, what do we got?
I don't like this comment, and it just sounds bad to me. Football Cat said a comment that we're talking about Gertie, and the comment is dressed like a roach. Hold on. No,
Greg, you said Greg did anything for Nene. He said dressed like a roach. Not you get it right.
I am so sorry, football coach.
Hold on.
Eat that. I apologize humbly. You don't know these days internet, so I am so sorry.
Look, we get bots up in here acting a fool out of here. So
you don't understand what we go through sometimes with the messages we get after the show.
The messages we get, we gotta parse. But I want to say this. I like the way that Gertie's handling this, because it is showing women that Gertie is attempting to have as normal a life as possible. She is not letting this diagnosis stop her. As scared as she is, she's still a mother. She's still a wife. She still has a job. She I don't think she's taking this as scared as she is. She's not taking this as this is the end. It's like, I still have to maintain and do all of this stuff, even though I have a husband who is there for me. Like, this is not changing who I am. This what you see is what you get. This is what I'm working with. And I almost am very thankful that she's in control of this. And like you said, it doesn't seem like Bravo is really milking this either, because it can also be very exploitative is what the word I'm looking for. Bravo could very much be like, I want to see you cry about it. We want to see you with IVs hooked up to you. We want to milk this for sympathy. And it's very much like, baby, I'm just doing whatever it is I'm doing.
And I also think the other girls are scared to talk to her about it.
Yeah.
I also don't think it's just that she's controlling it. I think they're also scared to bring it up. They know it's touchy for her. They know after the lashing, that Larsa guy, I think they're afraid. Of course, Larsa deserved it. She did something wrong. And I'm sure if somebody else talked to her I think
her and Nicole are probably having very frank conversations. Nicole's a whole ass doctor.
Because I think pretty soon Nicole's going to tell her to stop drinking.
Okay. Well, once you get on that medication, you're not going to want to drink.
Yeah.
Baby, you're not going to want to do anything. We move on. We see Alexia in her palazzo pants. They meet with Todd at his office, and she goes and they're having some like corporate meeting, and it's literally just Todd and a bunch of bros that look like they each have their own podcast. And I'm like, immediately got the ick of just like, get these men off my screen. And they're all like, all right, bro, later, bro. We're going to go to lunch later. I'm like, So they talk about their eviction. And apparently they have until the end of the month, like we stated earlier, not the 15th. Maybe it's an eviction. They got evicted. They're looking at another rental. And Alexia says she doesn't want to downsize because she's gotten accustomed to living where they're living. She goes, I mean, I already had to give up a house to live in an apartment. I'm like, the apartment has an elevator that goes up to the penthouse so you can store, like, I'm sorry, this is not a downgrade. Todd doesn't seem fazed by like any of this. He's like, oh, it's fine. I'm sure you'll find an apartment. You got plenty of time. Yeah,
you got 26 days, not 15.
You got 26 days. It's fine. Alexia says that the budget is $40,000 to $50,000 a month, and I'm like, she said we need all the space because the girls are going to college. I was like, the girls are 20. Like, what space do you need, lady? I'd love to be some Alexia. She is draining me. She's been draining me for 2 seasons.
She's been draining me since they rebooted.
Baby, she loves this camera. She loves this camera.
She always felt like the queen bee, and now new girls are in town and she doesn't know how to handle it, so she does extra trying to maintain that image. Yeah. When Todd first came on the screen, one word came to mind: shyster.
Very.
There's something creepy about that man.
Very Louis. Very Louis.
Almost worse.
Because he's not overtly creepy. Louis, you just look at him, you're like, oh, bitch, you a little creepy. But Todd is like, Louis looks creepy.
It looks creepy and crazy, but Todd looks evil to me.
Like a slumlord.
He looked like he could have been a character in the Dick Tracy movie back in the day. Like
very that.
So yeah, when he was like, "Oh no, you had it confused. We don't have to leave here in this, whatever." We got to the end of the month, and I'm like, "Okay, so what's that? 6 more days?"
Okay, for you, okay.
And if you know anything about Miami, there's most times you cannot go apply somewhere and move in the next day, because most places that Alexia is going to want to live in, rent from, is going to have an HOA. And not only do you have to apply to rent from the owner of the unit, you also have to approve you. You also have to do a separate application with the HOA. And a lot of times you can get approved with the rental company and the HOA denies you. With my company, we have people all the time get approved with us. And then the HOA says, oh, sorry, no. And now we're scrambling to find them another house.
Baby. And I wonder, part of me makes me...
No, I'm just saying. No, go ahead. I was just saying, they're not taking this as seriously as they should be, in my opinion.
Part of me, when I was watching this, I also thought if maybe you bring up the HOA, if maybe the HOA doesn't like the fact that there's consistently a filming crew in the building,
could be
for months at a time. This is the reason why Brynn never filmed at her apartment on the New York reboot because the HOA was like, no, baby, like we don't want that shit in this building. Not everybody wants cameras around. These rich people pay money so they don't have to like rub elbows with anybody that's not rich. So now you're bringing up these random folks.
I was going to say this comment, Jamie. After I finished saying that, they're not taking it serious, probably because they already have another place and all this is staged for a story.
Probably. Not a little one bedroom.
In Little Havana.
Little Havana. Hey, I would live in Little Havana.
Yeah, me too.
So yeah, it was just a very weird scene. Alexia does, we've said it before. Alexia does give off Teresa vibes in the sense that she comes off as a little bit dumb sometimes, but she's not. She's very calculated. She knows how to get in front of a narrative. She knows how to spin the narrative to her liking. And just like Teresa, she has somebody that is trying to go up against her that can split the fandom. So there's enough people that'll still be on her side, regardless of what she fucking does or freaking does. Oops.
But you know what, though? The difference, I feel like the only similarity her and Teresa have is that they are going to publicly support their man. Like, they don't give a damn. But unlike Teresa, I believe anything that Todd is doing shicey, Alexia knows all about it. She's just, her pride is not going to let her, let it come out and stuff.
We've seen her be married to a whole drug lord. Like, the lady don't care.
At all. So anything she knows, she probably allegedly helps him with stuff too, I'm sure.
But she's smarter than Teresa because I can guarantee she says, don't put my name on none of this. Yeah. I ain't signing no documents. I learned nothing from my drug lord husband.
He can't tell her, sign here for me, baby. She's going to say, let me look at read it.
The only paperwork I have is on that nail salon, and that's mine. That's why it's so small. And the prenup. So Larsa shows up to meet Lisa for lunch, and the only thing that I could think of this cheap, tacky outfit was Sable from WWE. Like these plastic pants and this push-up. Like Larsa, for somebody that made out like a bandit in her divorce, she is committed to looking as tacky, the tackiest person on Bravo as humanly possible. Yes. Like consistently committed to tack. Like I hate her. I hate her sense of fashion so much. Like even the Kardashians, say what you will, even the Kardashians like buy high-end garments and it can look high-end tacky. Like she is very Fashion Nova. Like God bless her. So they are discussing the divorce, the pending lawsuits, the litigation, all of that stuff. Larsa, in a bid to try and be, relatable, says that there was a rift between her ex-husband's family and her once they divorced. And she was like, I thought we were going to be great. And I thought that everything was going to be fine. I'm like, baby, why would they be friends with you when the husband, the one that had the money? That family ain't going to give up no money. We saw the way Lenny's mama flipped on Lisa the minute Lenny let her back in the house.
ASAP.
Really quick, Haitian print. God damn it, Empress said we skipped the scene with Jody, and you are right. Sorry, we got to talking. So there was a little scene where Lisa pops up and Jody. God bless this man. Jody says, I know that you've had a rough week with everything going on in the press, so I want to give you a little date night. Brings in a private chef to do sushi night. And Lisa immediately starts Instagramming, starts taking pictures. Jody is talking to her about stuff that's in the press. And she's like, well, it's got to be hard on you and blah, 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 blah. And Jody says, the only thing that I want is maybe you just check in with me some, because it is a lot. Just check in to see how I'm doing. And Lisa's like, yeah, I can do that. So we see in this scene, as Larsa is attempting to connect with her, Lisa does apologize for being unavailable. She wants to be a better friend. And then her alarm goes off and it's a reminder to check in on Jody. And Larsa musters all the strength that she has to show genuine shock on her face. But the feedback is actually what I was thinking. She was like, bro, like I can't imagine having to set an iPhone reminder to check in on somebody that I love. And then she reminds us of that little raggedy, 5-day welcome back party that she did. And I'm like, okay, well, there needs to be some sort of happy medium.
Balance.
Maybe not that.
Wasn't good either.
Maybe not that. So Lisa calls Jody and says, "Hey, I just got a reminder to check in with you." And he's like, "Oh, I'm fine." She's like, "Okay, I'll check back in at 8:30."
No, she's like, "Do you have any feelings you want to discuss?"
My God. My God.
So look.
I love it. I love this because it's very on brand for Lisa. Like why would we expect anything else?
Authentically her. I don't think she was acting. You know, in the scene with her and Jody, you know what's the first thing I thought when I saw his face when he said he has a lot going on right now? I said, "You look like it. Like he looks like Croy Bierman does to me. He looks tired and ragged. Like I said he's kind of handsome the first few times. Then now
she's wearing him out.
You know, when he says that he wants her to check in on him and ask him how he's doing, I do not feel bad for him. He chose to be a rebound. I am so sorry. He chose to date somebody who talks to him every single second of every day about divorcing their ex-husband.
Yeah. She needs to talk about that to a therapist, not your boyfriend.
And furthermore, how can you expect someone who Lisa is being drained emotionally? I can't take that from her. How do you expect her to have any emotion left over for you? If you are attaching yourself to that type of person, you have a savior complex or a hero complex.
Absolutely.
Or you're one of those people who's so insecure that you want to be with somebody who's going through something so that they can latch on to you. So I don't feel bad for Jody at all. I'm so sorry. You know, I also found it funny that exactly what the girls had said last episode is happening. To where, and you know, like you said, it's not that I don't want to talk to you about things. Just show interest in my stuff too.
Yeah.
And it's funny how Lisa says she's kind of doing him how Lenny did her. It's all about me. And so, you know, she's kind of being Lenny. And the only part I felt bad of was that he went through the trouble of putting this romantic gesture together for her. And the first thing she did was compare it to what her and Lenny did. That was so disgusting to me. But
I was just going to say that.
Mindset.
And I get it. She's allowed to be that way. She's in the thick of a soul-crushing divorce. But when you start describing your current boyfriend and say he's kind, he's caring, he listens to me, all these good things, and then follow up with not like Lenny, it's like, I need you to move past that. But also, you're not there yet. You're not past it. So anybody that knowingly gets involved with you, that's a decision. You're not deceiving anybody because Lisa does this thing. You said earlier that she talks to him about Lenny. She doesn't talk to him. She doesn't talk to anybody. She talks at them. Lisa needs a sounding board. She needs somebody just to be there.
I wonder if you took away her talking about Lenny, I don't think they have anything in common.
You know, and you hit the nail on the head. He may have a savior complex of just like, because he does seem like a nice guy. I don't think that anything that he's doing is disingenuous, but it's one of those things of like, you're giving all of this energy to somebody that is not in a place to receive it in a healthy manner. Like this lady has been married to this narcissist for so long,
and she's a
little bit of a narcissist as well. And I don't know how anybody can think that like this is going to be a healthy relationship. This is a good situation for me to jump into. No, baby. Nicole, please give this lady your therapist. Please give this lady your therapist number.
No, and I also think just there's a part of me that wonders. I'm not saying that he is this way because I don't get this vibe from him, but I wonder if a part of him just felt happy to be dating a celebrity at first, or that a celebrity showed him attention. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then he just got roped in and started caring about her, feeling bad.
You know, and he mentions that, you know, all the ladies have been so nice to me, and I'm just concerned that now they're talking about me. And I'm like, Lisa misrepresented. They're not talking about you.
They're talking
about her. They're saying, basically, they told her, are you taking advantage of this man that is showing you genuine kindness? Are you in a place to give this man the love that he is showing you?
This comment, it hit it on the head. Lisa did not understand the assignment of showing Jody more attention. If Larsa has to tell you that you're wrong in something, you're wrong.
My God.
If you need a reminder to think about your boyfriend, you're not ready for one.
At all. So we're finally at Nicole's Mamacita Pachanga, and everybody, I thought this was cute. Like, it was tastefully done. Everybody gets a Hot Mama Club, like, denim jacket with their name on it. I was like, oh, that's cute. The decor is cute. It's simple. Nicole hires a poet to write really nice things about the ladies because she doesn't trust that they're able to say nice things about each other.
Is that who that man was pecking in the corner while they were arguing?
She was a poet.
I thought he was a transcriber. I thought he was transcribing the event.
He was like, "There's a lot of Spanglish going on. Bravo's gonna need some translations."
I am dying.
This part had me howling. Lisa picks up Larsa in a Honda, a little Honda Pilot,
I have mixed feelings about that.
She said, the lady said, I need to get my own car, so I got a Honda. But then she goes, oh, it's my housekeeper's car. I was like, my God. What is this lady? Where's this lady? You're going to a party and you stole this lady's car.
Probably left her at the grocery store.
Very much. She was like, call an Uber, put it on Instacart. Letty will pay for it. Rightfully so. Lisa's still a little bit salty about what the ladies had talked about at the dinner or the lunch at their vacation. She says she's going to be entering the party a little cautiously. So we get there. What I've noticed is Kiki is always the first to show up to a party. And I love that. Baby. I love that she's on time for her. That's how you know she's a professional model. Baby,
you know what?
This is the job. When do you want me to show up?
And she also says, I might be a friend of the show, but I know everybody's late. So if I show up first, I get camera time.
Absolutely. She shows up, she gets her drink. And as she's going through, she was like, oh, where am I sitting? We've got seating placements. She said, who's Anna? Who's this lady? And Nicole says it's Anna Quinsoces. And Kiki is like, oh, girl, really? She goes, I haven't met her yet, but are you sure? And Nicole... She goes, oh, no, I don't think she has any issues with the girls. I have no idea. I wasn't aware if there's any drama. And then we get a flashback to last year's reunion where she goes, oh, yeah, Anna reached out to me after filming. And Alexia and Marisol are both like, we don't talk about her. We don't talk to her. Like, she doesn't exist. Even Lisa is like, nope, I don't mess with her.
But I'm kind of here for it.
I'm all the way here for it.
No, Lisa said, but I'm kind of here for it, but I'm not. But I'm kind of here for it.
So the ladies arrive, energy is warm, kisses are all around. Alexia herself looks through the seating and sees Anna's name, and her face says it all. Who's Anna? So then Marisol clocks it, and her face says it all, and they are not happy. So this is when we find out that at some point their friendship just went to hell. Alexia starts screaming, like, what's going on? This is messed up. Why would you do that? And she starts going after Nicole, like, this is a setup. You're so shady. I see what you're trying to do. And Nicole is like, well, Adriana's the one that called me and asked if she could bring Adriana. We're friendly, but it was Adriana's idea. Alexia's freaking out. Marisol does look annoyed, but she's just like, okay, well, like, I'm not going to look at her. Like, I'm not doing this. We get a little flashback where Adriana is inviting her, and I'm like, oh, okay. Like, this literally probably happened right after she filmed that scene with Julia. So Alexia, I got from this scene, like, she keeps amping Marisol up. She was like, yo, I have your back. I have your back. I have your back. You need to take up for yourself. Take up for yourself. And that's when
for herself.
Yeah, she was like, girl, I'm okay. And Nicole was like, y'all are acting crazy. I don't know what's going on. I was not aware that it was that deep. And that's when Marisol was like, yo, this lady has said I look like a corpse. This lady has said she wishes death on me. And then we get flashbacks of Anna and her daughter's podcast, which if you are aware of it or if you've seen it or even seen any clips of it, maybe they do not like Marisol or Alexia. Her daughter trashes her every chance that she gets and has been for quite some time. Alexia continues to rage on Nicole. She says Nicole is super sneaky. She thinks Nicole purposely did this because she's still mad at Marisol, and that little peace treaty that they had is BS. Nicole is like, no, I gave everybody a +1. Adriana called and asked if she could bring this person as her, as I don't have anything against Anna. Anna and I are friendly. I told her yes. Marisol, again, she doesn't seem to be like super pissed, but you know, Alexia is still kind of amping her up. So Julia in her confessional is saying like, yo, it seems she's putting together pieces of Adriana's gossip with now Adriana wanting to bring Anna. And she's like, why would you do this? Like, why would you start this? And I think that this is kind of a foreshadowing of the falling out that they're probably going to have later on in the season. Marisol calls Anna the devil. She refuses to sit across from her and said that they're leaving. They storm out, but not before they grabbed a drink at the bar. And then Alexia grabs a denim jacket. She goes, this is nice, but I'm not staying. They're still cussing Nicole out on the way. They're blaming Nicole, and I'm very confused. Like, well, if she says that it was Adriana, I don't understand why you're beating up.
She doesn't believe her.
She doesn't believe her. The question is, do you believe her? So before I get your feedback, let's go ahead and put the Marisol just did brujeria on Anna. I agree with that, probably. And Anna probably did the same thing. Let's go ahead and put the link to the live calls into the chat, and then we'll get Danny's feedback, and hopefully we'll get some callers, and you guys can give us yours. So Danny,
okay.
Does Nicole deserve to get her ass beat?
I'm on the fence because
even if you enjoy it, even if you love what she did, does she deserve
first,
it?
let me preface it by saying I'm here for Anna coming. Let me start there. Here's the thing. I'm on real quick. Just one thing about Lisa, real quick. The Honda part was funny, but I also didn't like how she was driving it to show that it was beneath her. It was very evident her doing that. I didn't like that because there's nothing wrong with a Honda Fit. That car's gonna last you 45 years.
At this point, the only thing you can afford is a Honda Fit, girl. You down here with the rest of us. Like,
she might be on a bike.
Cars, girl.
She might be on a bike, but
a little Vespa.
The part to me where I'm conflicted is, and I'm sorry, I look at Nicole. I see a very intelligent person. I don't see Nicole having joined Housewives of Miami without having watched previously. That is my only thing. I see her having done research on what she was coming into.
Yeah.
But I also want to give her the benefit of the doubt because Larsa also says she don't know what's going on, and she was there since day one. You know what I mean? Julia also doesn't know what's going on. So, I mean, not Julia. Gertie doesn't know what's going on. So, there's other housewives. They are saying that they too don't know what the issue is. So it's not far fetched, in my opinion. Now, after I saw that, to say that I genuinely believe Nicole would have no problem standing in her shit and say, "Yeah, I knew, and this is why I did it." Should Nicole have been a little smarter and done some research on why Adriana picked a former housewife to come? Maybe that could be her only thing. But I probably would have popped Alexia, no lie.
Look, because she kept saying, "Stop screaming, bro! Stop screaming!" I'm like,
"You're screaming at me.
You're screaming." But also, it's like we're both Latina. We are not screaming. This is how we talk.
And that
man is I was struggling so hard to tell you.
So yeah, you're right. Marisol was very calm. It's like Alexia kept trying to put a battery pack in her, and what's going to happen later on that Marisol doesn't realize this. Alexia's going to say, "Girl, you left me there fighting for you alone. How am I fighting for you? And you didn't stand up for yourself." She
goes, "You never say I have your back. I have your back now. Stand up for yourself." I'm like,
when it's really you're having your own back, because your reaction to this lets me know that the information that Anna has about you is true.
A little bit.
Because
if someone was lying on me, I'd have no problem sitting across from them and being like, "So what was said, girl?"
Because the clip where Nicole references that she didn't realize there was anything wrong was at New York at the reunion, and they show Alexia saying when Andy mentioned Anna, "Well, I'm not scared." And for me, that's when I started siding Nicole, because I'm like, Nicole, you should know that someone saying I'm not scared doesn't mean that there's no problem. That's a clear sign that there's beef.
But then also, like, the lady reached out to you after this, like, the lady reached out to you. Like,
I feel like
Anna is shady. Anna's not stupid either.
I
I don't think she knew the whole thing. But it's also like with it, one, I think Adriana's gonna get it. Like you said earlier in the episode, they're gonna beat her ass.
Well,
Like,
especially after they're really gonna tear her ass up at the reunion because
absolutely.
So her confessional, you said, "Oh well, I think Anna should come and tell the information she has."
Yeah,
And,
I don't get in people's finances, but
and that to me, that was even that it was like I think this should be her last season. I'm sorry, she's doing all this housewife work as a friend of the show.
Okay. My thing is like if you actively want to build better relationships with your two friends, I don't understand why you're actively poking
because they really haven't done nothing to her this
season. Since they talked Marisol.
Even with the passing gas thing, Marisol, I want to be the first one to say Marisol and Alexia were reading her, but they really were just talking about the passing of the gas. That is it. They weren't even
after that episode aired, Marisol was on Watch What Happens Live, and I side-eyed Marisol because Andy asked about where's the friendship with Adriana. She was like, I don't talk to her. I didn't mean to apologize to her. They edited it weird. And I was like, that's kind of shysty. But seeing this, I was like, that makes sense. You have an apology. You think that you're on track. And no less than a week and a half later, you actively bring somebody on who you know takes every opportunity they can to drag me through the mud, who's not on this show. Like, I love me some Anna, but like that, because she's making these girls work. She's coming in, she's doing her little cameo, and she's making them work. But at the same time, it's like, you're my friend. We're trying to be cool. We're trying to move forward. I just apologized to you, and you doing this stuff? Like, okay, I see you, Adriana. And I don't want any cheers from her. Stand in it.
But they're going to come.
They're going to come.
She's been bullied.
She's going to go do a bump of ketamine and, like, try to escape this.
You just can't feel bad for Adriana because she does it to herself. She doesn't have, I hate to say this, she has the evilness to go at it with you, but she doesn't have the range.
Yeah.
So she doesn't have the range to verbally spar with you in English or Spanish. She just don't. Alexia's going to overtalk her every time, and she's going to get emotional and cry. You see in the preview, she starts yelling at Larsa about the Kardashians. And she's about to cry when she's saying that. So
Marisol already knows how to wind her up. Marisol knows exactly how to like get her. And this is one of the things like where if you watch previous seasons, Marisol really was very diminutive, very shy. She shied away. Something happened. I think it has to do with her mother passing, but Marisol has now stepped up and
she's like,
say what you want about her, baby. She has no problem telling you about yourself now. She has zero problem.
And
zero.
That was always my issue with Marisol. She was always saying it behind the back. And sometimes she owned it, sometimes she didn't. Now, I think Marisol has become a lot more likable to me this season than ever before.
That's because, like, if you're going to talk shit, like, at least be honest that you're talking shit.
I'm fine with somebody who talks shit to your face. I don't have to, like,
just own it.
Just say it to me.
And I think, everybody has said that Marisol has been a pot stirrer and stuff. I haven't seen a lot of that this season. Adriana, the last two seasons, it's been Adriana's work, but Marisol
got the big caldero.
Very much that. All right, so it looks like we've got a caller. We've got M on the line. We're already at an hour. Danny, we said this episode was going to be short. Look at us, just chatting.
And our callers didn't want to be rushed, so we gave them what they want.
Very much.
So let me put her in. Hi,
M. Hey, M. Oh, it looks like you're on mute, sweetie. Can I unmute her?
I can't know because she put themselves on mute.
There.
Oh, I think you moved her. You got to unmute yourself. It won't let us unmute you because you're the one who pressed mute.
Oh, can you hear me now?
There we go.
Yes.
There we go. Yes. Hey, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good. All right, give it to us.
I haven't seen Danny in a while. How have you
been? I know. I saw your name. I was like,
Sometimes I'm like, am I annoying or like? But
no.
I just wanted to say a few things. I think Adriana either needs to be a full-time housewife or she needs to just like back off because the friend of doesn't get paid as much as a housewife. And she's doing way too much work for a friend of. The paycheck isn't that great. If I was a friend of, I would just relax, sit back, enjoy all the trips and like the nice dinners and stuff like that. But I wouldn't like get so involved. I wouldn't be like producing, you know?
Gotta be like Kiki.
Yeah, be like Kiki. Kiki just like honestly half the time she's just drinking in a corner, like, and she'll say like one quirk or something, and she'll just like she's generally very like laid back, and she'll only say something if like she is annoyed, because some of these women can be quite infuriating. So so sometimes Kiki would be like, enough, I'm tired of you being so like whatever you're feeling, you know. She will talk, but she doesn't interject herself. She doesn't like create storylines. That's not her job, you know. And I also really like the outfit she was wearing this today, like before the interviews. No, the interview outfit, the orange one. I know, but the orange outfit and the makeup, like I don't know what was different. She looked
that orange looked gorgeous on her. That orange just looked beautiful on her.
Her makeup too was very like different, because usually her makeup is quite like colorful, but I don't know what it was, but something about, I don't know, maybe she did a different like makeup style or something, and I liked her slick back hair. She looked really good. You know, so I want to give her that credit. Also, I really I wanted to say, I don't think that Lisa like setting a reminder, because she is ADHD, it makes sense, because I know people who, like, I have a friend, she like works in IT, and she has to set reminders to eat when she's working on projects, because she will forget, you know. Yeah, it's that.
I've never been too busy to eat.
Well, can I ask you a question, Em?
Yeah.
Why she don't need a reminder to talk about Lenny?
That's what, I don't know, because like Lenny's taking up all her space. I think in her mind, Lenny she wakes up, she thinks about Lenny. She goes to sleep, she thinks about. I think secretly she's just mad that she lost that money. Yeah, that money's gone. She's not gonna see it. She's mad. But I also don't like the fact that she, even though he had a conversation with her saying like, I feel neglected, I think that was her moment to be like, you know what? I understand why the ladies were saying that I should be more cautious of him. She should be like, oh, I'm going to go to therapy. I promise to be more conscious of your feelings. That was her moment to be subtle, but she brings it back to Lenny, and it's like, ugh, girl, you know, and I get where she's coming from. Yeah, and I get where she's coming from, and I feel bad for her. I also don't like Marisol and Alexia when they attack Nicole. I think like this whole season of like, oh, let's be friends, let's move on, I think that's bullshit. And I feel like I knew like they just don't like her. I don't know. I think the reason they don't like her, I think Alexia looks at her because her parents were doctors, and you know they did the right thing. They went to medical school. They expected more from her, except for marrying a drug lord. And I think looking at Nicole, I think Nicole's living the life she wanted to live, like go to medical school, be a doctor, like her parents wanted her. And I think there's a lot of envy, and that's probably why Alexia doesn't like Nicole. But Marisol just doesn't like Nicole for, I don't know, she just doesn't like her.
Well, I don't think Marisol attacked Nicole. She just said, yo, I'm not sitting across from this girl. And I'm glad that she didn't join in on attacking Nicole. She goes, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to sit here with her.
No, but like she did say, I don't know if you missed it, but she said one comment like, you're smart, you know? And then Alexia said, yeah, you are smart. But like Marisol blamed her for Anna as much as Alexia does. I think she was just quiet because Alexia was so vocal.
I think what we're saying is that she definitely felt the same way but she wasn't like acting outrageous. The old Marisol would have tore up the table.
No, I actually think,
she would have read her down.
No. I think there will be a scene where Marisol comes back. I just truly believe those two were never going to be her friend.
I hope, because I like them. When they made up last episode, like that's the duo I want. They're both fun. They both got a mouth. Like I would much rather see Nicole and Marisol friends than Marisol and Alexia. I would much rather see that.
I truly feel like Marisol and Alexia, the first season when Nicole came in, they had some fun moments, right? Until Alexia and her got in a fight. The problem is Alexia could never be her friend because when Marisol doesn't like Nicole. And you know what? And I think Marisol has always been more loyal than Alexia is. I think in her mind, she's like, my girl hates this girl. I guess we're ride or die. And I think when Alexia was kind of making up with Nicole, that's when Marisol said, okay, I'll let this imaginary grudge go. But I knew that wasn't going to happen. I knew they weren't going to be friends. I knew there was going to be some bullshit fight. And she even said it. She's like, I don't know what I did to these women. I feel like they just attacked me for no reason.
I know what she did.
What
Red
she
been
do?
down at that
She got a
point.
mojito and
Season one.
Marisol's a friend of.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the friend. And you know, honestly, I have said this. I think Adriana and Marisol being a friend of, I don't know why they're doing too much. They're producing, they're doing all this stuff, and I'm like,
I'm glad that they are, though.
Yeah,
I'm
I
glad
agree.
that they are.
I agree.
Because
But
for seasons, they've been doing more work than Keith.
But you know what, though?
Girls.
they
still
need to
might be
negotiate
getting
that.
But they still
Yeah.
might be getting the pay that they've always been accustomed to, because so
I think I've heard other friends of shows, like there were previous Housewives and other friends of, they have talked the paycheck is good, like, but like definitely being main cast is way better. You know, like the main cast, that check is even hotter. And I just think like, because the friend of show is like, let's be honest, if Alexia goes out of the show, or Alexia and her stop being friends, Marisol doesn't have she doesn't have a diamond or a flamingo. Adriana's the same thing. Julie is at least Adriana has more friends of in the show. There's more people that will keep her in the show. But the truth is, Marisol's two closest friends is Kiki and Alexia, and Kiki's a friend of, and Alexia like can go anywhere.
Well, she needs to become friends with Nicole, because I don't see Alexia being there forever.
I honestly, but I think Adriana is smarter. She's friends with Gertie. She's friends with Lisa. She's friends with Julia. And even if her and Julia stop being friends, she's still friends with like probably 70% of the cast.
If her and Julia stop being friends, they would definitely bring Adriana back just for them to argue.
Yeah.
I think they would. And honestly, I think Adriana now I think she needs to, I don't know. I feel like her and Marisol need to go back and be like, listen, if you're not gonna have us on the show, because Marisol, I think she is independently wealthy. She's talked about her father was a businessman, her mom had money because she'd been married 20 billion times, and she sued her doctor. I honestly think Marisol doesn't need the money, and I've always been like, I feel like Marisol really like, and I think she does like being the friend of, because I think it is less pressure, and she can always fall back on, I'm just here drinking. I don't know why everybody's mad at me. You know, she can play dumb.
Miami is one of those franchises where the friends of literally are main cast.
They are.
there's not a single episode that goes by that you don't see Adriana, Kiki, or Marisol. And you know, it's a different setup, because Peacock brought all these ladies back under the guise of like, we need them. But I think that they were only made friends of because they also understand for a reboot you can't bring you have to have new blood. So you couldn't just have new blood as friends of. But literally, Miami is one of those rare franchises where every single person that is there is vital to the episodes. Like, I think they're making it work.
I've always said this. I personally think there are people you could interchange. As I think Alexia needs to be a friend of, I think Marisol needs to be the cast. I think she does more.
If they have a falling out, I would like to see Marisol as main cast and Alexia
honestly,
as friend of.
I truly feel like Alexia, if she is as rich allegedly as she is, I don't understand why she needs to show. I know she needs it for the attention and stuff like that, but the truth is the last 2 years, the publicity she's been getting from the show, this season even, I would step away if I were her. Just like, at least like, I would just be like, you know what, put me as a friend of, or like, I would step away. I think Adriana needs to be, I think Julia needs to be a friend of. Adriana should have been in this cast. It makes no logical sense.
I think Julie was made a main cast member due to her celebrity wife.
Yeah, but now, I mean, Julia's working. I don't know.
No, she is working, but
season.
we didn't know she was going to work like this. I'm just saying, I think Martina being her spouse had a lot to do with it.
I mean, Julia did. You know what I loved about Julia this season? She lost some weight. She got a stylist. She does her makeup better. And then
that little. I'm wearing this in honor of Julia. I'm wearing my Julia piece. My little. Julia piece.
That's a cleavage.
Oh, Jamie, read this comment and read it the right way. With the 2 words at the end.
Come on, Em. Alexia is rich. Otherwise, that's slander. Slander.
No. Listen, I said allegedly because like, it's shady that like, for being as wealthy as she is, her husband allegedly having all this business and stuff. I mean, I'm not crazy, but what I've never heard of someone saying like, if you can afford it, I've never heard of someone saying like, it's not realistic to buy a house. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard, because like homes and properties, their value goes up.
Especially in Miami.
You know? So Miami. So this idea, like we're gonna rent and $40,000 a month. That's a mortgage.
It's stupid.
That's a mortgage. That's what
That's
1 point
stupid.
something. That's like close to $1 million, if not more. That's
You literally
a
just
mortgage.
You got done telling Lisa she doesn't need to spend $40,000 on a condo, but you're spending for.
Yes. No, that's why I think that's why I think their finances are shady. And you know what, Adriana, I think the reason why I think this season she's been planting the seed. I think this fight has been. I think she's known that their finances is shaky for a lot longer. I think she just wanted an excuse to bring up the finances, and I think the excuse was when it was Alexia's fake birthday / basketball charity game. I think that's when she was like, you know what? I'm gonna bring Anna, because I think Anna has been talking to her, but she's like, I don't want to go there. I don't want to fight with Alexa, blah blah blah. But I think her crying, and then the fact, and I think the real thing that snapped her is losing Julia. She feels like Alexia and Julia being friends is a threat to her, and I think now that's why she's bringing Anna, and that's why she's going after her finances.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and we love it. All right, Em. Thank you guys so much. We can sit here and talk all night, but thank you so much. Have a fantastic New Year. We will talk to you next year. Please call in next.
You got to come back next week when Anna.
You got to come back next week because it's the fight. We got to talk about it.
I was mad because all those like side stories. I was like, I don't need to know about Lisa and her boring dinner. And I don't
get to Anna.
Like, they should have just. And that's what I said about the. I feel like it's gonna be boring, like the Beverly Hills dinner, because they cut it into 2 scenes. It got boring, and that's why I'm like, just keep the fight in 1 episode. You know, don't do the filler stuff.
That's how they build it up. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
you have yourself. Have a good night, Em. We will see you next week.
Bye, love.
All right. And hopefully, I plan on being here next week.
Me too.
I hope, God willing. All right, everybody. Thank you for staying with us. We know we ran a little bit over, but like we said, you guys made it fun. We like talking. Danny, it was good to see you, friend. I will talk. We'll be in our chat.
In the chat right after this.
We'll be texting right after this. To everybody, all of our regulars who are on here, Haitian Empress, Sean S, April Morgan, football, my Dallas sister, brother, Dr. C, Ida, Montijo, MJ, thank you guys so much, and M for calling in. Name them. Thank you guys so much. I can say this is the last live of 2023. Thank you guys for making 2023 a successful year. Next week, we are back to our regular scheduled program, except for Potomac. Potomac is not Sunday, right? Because it's New Year's Eve, so it's not a new episode. We will be back with my Salt Lake City Tuesday, which is live right after the episode. It's the season finale. Monica gets exposed, and I cannot wait. Wednesday, we will be live with a new episode of Beverly Hills, a continuation of the Dinner Party from Hell Part 3. And then Thursday, we will be live with the continuation of Miami's Dinner Party and the return of the icon, the legend, Ana Quinsoces. Thank you, everybody who joined tonight. You guys, whatever you're doing this weekend, have a phenomenal New Year's Eve. Have a safe New Year's Eve. We want to see each and every one of you back in 2024. We love you guys. Thank y'all so much. Bye, Danny. I'll talk to you in a bit.
All right.